This is Alec Sianna in the third episode of the Ricky Gervais Roasts. Welcome back. Don't forget to subscribe to Alec Sianna. There's a lot more coming, not only about Ricky. We roast celebrities, the pretentious ones, and we roast ourselves. And here we are with Ricky. So back to Ricky Gervais, the one and only, as he introduced himself. We see him coming on stage and big lights, 3 times as tall as he is. Not very much, not very big. Anyway, so back we go to Ricky's home in Reading, Slumdog. Let's look at his background, and I binged on him to understand who this man was, to understand this. I won't call it a phenomenon. It's more of a carbuncle on the underside of society, but it's there for a purpose. It lets off pressure. And Ricky does that very well. He gets people annoyed, he builds up the pressure, and then it deflates. I binged on him to understand who this man was, to understand this. I won't call it a phenomenon. It's more of a carbuncle on the underside of society, but it's there for a purpose. It lets off pressure. And Ricky does that very well. He gets people annoyed, he builds up the pressure, and then it deflates. So anyway, in Reading, his mother, this is a working class household. Father works, he's away, honest man, French Canadian. I don't know how much he drinks. I don't know if Ricky picked up his alcoholic habits from there, because Ricky's always out there with the glass. He's not funny. It's not funny coming on stage with beer, because Dean Martin used to bring a drink, but Dean was suave and he was talented because he could sing, and Ricky can't sing for a bugger. And he could talk in many languages, and Ricky can't even speak English.
I'm not blasé about this reaction. It's fucking heartwarming. So thank you. But yeah, some people are on it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Some people finished it. Some people are watching it twice.
And on he comes stage with his beer, and the question is, he didn't learn it from his dad, probably. Too young, he wasn't allowed to drink at home. Father working on the building sites, 2 baths a week. Brothers and sisters, we don't know much about them, but going to school, coming back, playing in the street and so on, 2 baths a week. Mother working in the kitchen, cleaning up the house, cutting up onions, boiling things. And little Ricky at school, doing his nasty things, doing whatever he did, 2 baths a week. And working class women in those days would start off with the water. They would boil turnips and they boiled cabbage, and then the water that they boiled vegetables in, they gave to their children to drink. Well, Ricky's, no doubt, because there were so many of them, there was a lot of water left over. So into the tin tub it went, bits of turnip floating around. In they went, one after the other, 4 children, 2 parents, 6 people in the same bathwater. And don't say I'm exaggerating. Anyone who's been to a British boarding school, and I can tell you I have, even though it was in Africa, because it was 99% British. We were different from the Gervais because we had a bath every day, but there were baths and showers at primary school and at secondary school, and the baths, there were 3 of them, and they were for 6 people each, and the water would be filled up boiling hot for the first one, clean, so the prefects would go in that, the older boys, 2 at a time. Nothing hanky-panky, it was practical. Wash, soap, suds, flannels, whatever, soapy water, most of the dirt off. Up they would stand, out they would go. Then the next would come in, the intermediate boys. 2 more in the same water. Now it's suddy, it's got quite a bit of dirt in it. It's cooled down, and there are bubbles on the surface, brownish bubbles. They have a bath. So then by this time, the water's dirty. And then in come the junior boys, the last 2 into each of the baths. 2 at a time. The water's opaque, it's brown, it's sudsy, and there's those bubbles that don't break. I mean, they're pretty solid with the muck in them. And they're washing away and they're hurrying up to go to supper, because supper's there and we have to be quick to supper. So how do people in those circumstances and in British working classes rinse off? Now, this is for my American friends and overseas in Europe. They didn't have a shower thing to put the telephone apparatus or a shower head. And no rain showers in those days. That's beyond, that's beyond fantasy. So what would happen? Up would stand your Ricky or whoever in the neighborhood at the school, full of suds, brown soap suds. Get the towel, wipe down. Half of the muck would go on the towel. The rest would stay on them. And off they went. That was the bath. And that was at school every day. But Ricky had it twice a week. And up until the time he made it, I think by the time he was about 40. Now, the interesting thing is, he was on with Whoopi Goldberg in a talk show, plugging another thing. Is when you see these people on talk shows, they're plugging something. It's very rare that an interviewer will have someone very famous on, for nothing. Because first of all, famous people don't want to go somewhere for nothing. They've worked very hard. Their time is right, and they want to be paid. So for them to be on a show, it's very rare that they're there just to be interviewed. They're plugging something. And Ricky was plugging one of his endless shows, the boring bloody stuff he does that we've never even heard of. But, it's big in the States now, whatever. I don't know if it was The Office or The Afterlife or whatever. Ricky's philosophical wanderings and his writing. We'll come back to that. And he's telling Whoopi, we had 2 baths a week, but now that I'm rich, I have one every day.
With your bath obsession, what's going on here?
I love a bath. I think it's because when I was little, a bath was like a luxury. We could afford 2 a week each in the family. So now I think that's my luxury.
Now you're gluttonous, laying in the bath.
Honestly, my baths have got bigger and more luxurious.
And I have 2 a day and I soak. Oh, come on, Ricky. Up until your time you were 40, when you made it, as you say, to make it, you have to go through a transformation. It's like a butterfly coming out of a chrysalis. You can be an ugly little insect. You go into a chrysalis, which is your hard work. It's your career. And then you should come out like a butterfly. Well, you didn't really. You came out like a creepy thing, doing creepy things. And if people touched you or you touched them, you hurt them, you insult them. And it's generally that. So out comes Ricky, and he's having his 2 baths a week. But now he's suddenly free. He has his girlfriend, Jane Fallon. Wow, he's not married. He doesn't believe in that stuff. And why not? It's his partner. I can't pronounce it like he can't pronounce D's and T's. It's not a speech defect. It's just laziness.
Laziness, I guess. I've never bothered.
It's laziness and an incapacity. And that proves he's not that intelligent. He never learned English properly because he couldn't learn the blinking alphabet. What is water? He hates people who don't understand Twitter. He said Twitter. What a hell? What a bleeding hell is Twitter? So he's telling her about where he and Jane went when he started making it. And they went to a place, I think it was King's Cross. It's a part of London with betting shops and prostitutes with their little places. And this is bedsitter land. And he said he was in a bedsitter. Now, bedsitter land, bedsitters for those who don't know London, in each building, every room was converted by a landlord to make some money. They put a cupboard in there and a couple of beds, candlewick counterpane or bed covers, the Americans call them. And this was one room and a couple of chairs. It's a one-room apartment, one-room flat. No bath, of course, and kitchen facilities are probably in a cupboard, just a rack with just maybe a little fridge underneath, and a couple of electric, we call them, the hobs there. Anyway, one bath. Where do they bathe? Yes, on the landing in the 4-story building, because London is mainly basement, 4 stories, and occasionally something above that. But normally it's 4 stories. So on the 2nd or 3rd floor, there would be, on the landing, there would be one room, which would be the bathroom. Bathtub, taps, hot and cold, as the British do. They don't, no mixer. You have the hot water and the cold water, and you put your hands under there if you want to wash your face in a sink, and you mix them up, and you do this juggling trick with back and forth, unless you fill the tub up. Anyway, into the bath, and Ricky and the other tenants in this bedsit building would know how much water to put in because of the previous tenants having baths here, because there would be a tide mark. Remember what I said, there's no shower. So you don't wash away, you can't use a shower to wash away the tub and rinse down the tub. And there would be a tide mark of the dirt of the previous tenants. So you run there, and then Ricky said he would like to luxuriate in that, as he does now. But of course a tide mark with Ricky, playing it, he's high on the hog now, he's making money, he started writing a series that people are watching it, and he and Jane, his BBC boss, that's another thing, good for her, fine. Feminine emancipation, good to see women in positions of power. But on the other hand, I think, is she exercising her feminist power too much by sleeping with the help or with the juniors? I mean, you look at your own level, but Ricky's not her own level. Good for them. That is bed-sitting land. That was King's Cross, I think, that Ricky lived in. And now he comes on television, says he has his own bath in the mansion he's bought in Hampstead, which is a joke of a mansion. What for, Rick?